Hello, students. Welcome to your new student orientation with Columbia School. Right now, on your screen, you should see that I am displaying the welcome email from the registrar, which includes the website address that you would use to use your username and password. Notice that these have upper and lowercase and numbers. So when you type them, make sure that you use uppercase or lowercase and the correct numbers to log in. Now let's go to that login screen. I'm going to change my view. And here we are at the login site for you to enter your unique username and password. Now, notice that at the bottom, under Submit, there's a Forgot Your Password message. So if you do not remember your password, you can click here and a member of our customer support team will support you and provide that password to your email. I also want you to notice over to the bottom right-hand corner that we have that live chat bubble where you can chat with a member of our team Monday through Friday, 24 hours a day. Let's close that view and enter our username and password. We're going to click Submit. Now we are on the student homepage, otherwise known as your dashboard. You'll notice there's a menu on the left-hand side. Let's take a look at those options. First of all, when you click on Dashboard, that's going to bring you to your home page. Below that is the Getting Started area. This is going to provide helpful guidance on whether you need to set up your pop-up blocker for Google Chrome, Mozilla Firefox, or Edge. And if you're using an iPad, there are specific steps on how to set up your individual browser settings on your iPad to make sure that you're able to launch to your course. Let's go back to that dashboard and take a look at the second option, which is Community. Here you're going to be able to join other students who are part of the international program where you can collaborate with other students who attend the Hudson Global Scholars Program. Next in the menu is the Student Handbook. Here you're going to have access to all of our policies and procedures. You may want to reference that when you have a moment. The calendar. The calendar is a very useful resource to know the day and time of your live lesson. The next item, cumulative record, that is not something you're going to use at this point in time. Official transcripts, that's how you would request a transcript if you were applying to colleges. I'm sure we're all excited about that point in our life. Contact support. This is how you are going to access our knowledgeable help desk team 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Now, in the bottom right-hand corner, you'll see the default language is English, but if you want to choose to translate into the Greek language, I simply choose on the Greek icon. You'll notice over here in the knowledge base, all of those prompts have turned into the Greek language. But to the right, this is how we're going to access that customer support agent 24 hours a day, Monday through Friday in live time. If you're having any issue whatsoever, but most importantly, if you're having an issue joining your live lesson, this is where you should come first and as soon as possible. So we begin on our online dialogue. Hello, my. And then we click on the arrow. The agent will come online and work through my issue or concern in live time. This is where you're going to want to access if you're having any issues joining that live lesson. Let's close that. Another area that I can access is the ticket system. That is in the upper right-hand corner. I'll enter my email address, my first name, my last name, subject. This could either be the course name or the topic that you have an issue or concern about. Then you're going to provide some further information about what it is that you're encountering. You can always upload a file here, and then you're going to click Submit. Once you click Submit, within an hour, you're going to receive an email from our customer support team. And that email is going to provide a reference number. That is your peace of mind to know that an agent has received your issue or concern, and they are actively working to resolve it. Now, I want to let you know that if you have a question about an assignment in the course, or you don't understand the directions or how to answer a question from the teacher, that should be an email to your instructor. But if you have any kind of technical issues or you've sent the email to a teacher and the teacher has not responded within 24 to 48 business hours, or you're having any type of issue whatsoever, this is where you're going to enter a request for support. Let's go back to that. First, we have that live chat bubble in the bottom right-hand corner. That's available to you Monday through Friday, 24 hours a day. Or you can come up to the top and enter a support ticket. The bottom chat, that is the fastest way. The ticket system is available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And then in the center, we have this self-help guide, otherwise known as our knowledge base. And you'll see under here, there are links that we can access further information. Let's go back to that dashboard and take a look at some more of that information. Let's go back to our home dashboard, and you'll notice in the center, we have introductory information. This announcements area is where your instructor or the administrators at Columbia School will place information for you. The Getting Started announcement will stay here throughout your semester, and there are excellent resources. You are benefiting by watching this new student orientation. However, after your orientation, you may have some questions. So there's some material here for you to review. Simply click on the hyperlink in the blue font, and you will arrive at further information. Now let's take a look at that information regarding your specific course. These two tiles are for two different courses. Today we're going to concentrate on the digital media course. So over to the left, we see our course name. We see the start date and we'll see the end date. This 130 days remaining will let you know that you have 138 days left in your semester. Please keep in mind that includes Saturdays, Sundays, holidays, and vacation breaks. Now, we don't require students to work during those periods. However, if you've gotten behind on a few assignments, the campus is open to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, so you can log in at those times where you're not so busy and complete some ungraded work that needs to be caught up on. Now, here is your instructor name, and you'll see the current grade. This student has not started completing any required gradable work yet, but when the student does, the grade represented here will be the cumulative grade for submitted work only. Keep in mind that this is a self-paced program, which means we do not put zeros in the gradebook for late or missing work. So that is not the only marker of how you are performing in the course, but it is one very important marker. Now, if the grade is lower than desired, that button to the right will turn red. So our goal is to make sure that grade is about 75% or higher so that that button turns green, which is a positive for the student. Now below, under course pacing, you will have three options: on pace, falling behind, or at risk. If the student is on pace with completing work, that button to the right will be green. If the student is falling behind, perhaps the student is a few assignments behind the targeted due dates, that will say falling behind here, and that button will be yellow. And if the student is seriously behind in completing work, it will say at risk, and this button will turn red. Now, don't worry, even if it's yellow or red, all you need to do is put in and submit some more assignments, and you will be in the green eventually. Below, you'll see the assignments due to date and the completed to date once the student starts completing work. If you want to access the list of assignments that are due and perhaps the grades you've earned, we'll go to the assignments area and click with our mouse. Here you'll see all of the required gradable assignments that are in the course that you are going to need to complete. Notice the due date is the last day of the semester. That does not mean you wait until that date to submit the work. This is just a gentle reminder that every one of these assignments must be completed prior to this day. I'm going to show you another resource on how you're going to determine when your assignments are due in the course. But over to the right, when you start completing work, this NA, which means not applicable, will include the grade that you have earned on the assignment. And under the date submitted category, it will show you the date that you submitted that assignment online for your teacher to grade. If it shows as NA, that means the student has not attempted it yet and should do so. Let's go back to that dashboard. And this is how you're going to email your instructor. Click on the Message Center. Notice that it automatically fills in your teacher's email address, and it will also fill in your email address. So there's no need to remember that when you're preparing to send a letter to your email teacher. So I will say digital media. And then you're going to click Send. That will automatically deliver your email to your instructor. Please keep in mind that your instructor has 24 to 48 business hours to review your email and respond. So if you send your teacher an email on Friday, the teacher is not likely going to respond on Saturday or Sunday. The teacher will open the email on Monday and respond then. But don't worry, your teachers are regularly monitoring their inbox. Let's go ahead and go to the course itself. Click on the Start button. And now we're going to see the digital media course door. This is going to open up the world of digital media to you, the student. I hover over the door and click with my mouse. In the center, we'll find some introductory information for you to review before you get started with the course. We'll read through that information. There's some required materials here, and most of them are free. So the directions are right here. Now, as we scroll down, we see two headers. The first is the activities header, and to the right of that is the to-do list. So the activities is where the learning takes place. You'll be presented with learning material, theory, concepts, some videos, practice activities, and required gradable assignments. Over to the left, we'll see that table of contents. First, we're going to review the live sessions area. When I click on live sessions, if I have live sessions added to my course material, I should launch to my course and wait here approximately 5 minutes before the scheduled start time of my live lesson. You'll notice that the prompt is in red. As soon as your instructor opens the Zoom room, this message will turn blue and it will say, "Click here to join your live session." Students should click on that blue font and join their instructor in the Zoom room with other peers. Every live session is recorded whether students are there or not. 8 hours after the live session has closed, you will be able to access a library of recorded sessions by coming here. This is a great resource to students if you are getting ready to complete an assignment or an assessment and you want to reinforce what you have previously learned. You'll come here and watch those recordings. These recordings will be available to you throughout the end of the semester. So perhaps you're getting ready for a mid-semester exam and you want to refresh your understanding of what was taught those first few weeks. You can come here and watch the recording. All right, let's go back to that main area. And that we're going to do that by coming to the upper left-hand corner and clicking on that live sessions back arrow. Now we're back at our course dashboard. Click. Let's review some more information. Under live sessions is the resources area. And students, I know you're excited to get into the learning material. However, it is vital that you review the getting started information. This is going to provide you with a strong start to working in an online course. You'll notice there are 15 slides over to the upper right-hand corner. The upcoming slides will include how to read announcements, how to submit assignments in an online program, submitting to the discussion board, reading and using rubrics to achieve the highest grade possible on assignments, how to contact your teacher. I showed you that previously from your dashboard, checking your grades. This is your gradebook detail, and I highly encourage you to regularly review your gradebook detail to look for areas of improvement, as well as read some positive feedback from your instructor, and how to successfully complete your course. Let's take a look at a few of those slides. Turn the page. We have an introductory video.
Welcome to your new class. We're glad you're here, and we want to make sure.
And I'm glad you're here as well. Now, below the video, you'll notice there's a transcript button. I can actually print out this transcript, so I have that as a reference. Let's turn the page. Going to class. There's a very helpful video. Keeping pace. How to make sure that you are submitting your work according to those targeted due dates. Contacting your teacher. Announcements. Taking notes, which is important in an online course. Starting work. This is vital for you to understand from the very beginning how to download, organize, and start working on your class assignments. Please do not skip over this material. It's going to save you a lot of time if you learn from the very beginning how to properly upload work. Let's take a look at how to turn in your work. whether it's a worksheet, a handout, or even an audio or video assignment. This is particularly important because you're working in a digital media course. So you're going to have different formats of assignments that you're going to submit to your teacher. Checking your grades. This will show you where you can review that feedback and review options to improve your overall grade. Discussion boards. You are going to have discussion board prompts in this course. You're going to read the prompt and then you're going to respond so that your peers and your instructor can see your post. This is an important part of your gradable assignments. Informative hygiene, how to cite your work, digital tools, live sessions. We reviewed that in just previously. And finally, our insurances. Now, once you've reviewed the getting started material, you want to come to the bottom left-hand corner and click on this yellow box, which means mark this activity complete. Once you've done so, you're going to then move on to your next activity, which is going to be here in the bottom right-hand corner, next activity. Let's click and take a look at that information. You will notice at the beginning of each topic, you will be presented with an introductory slide, which will say objectives. What are you hoping to achieve by learning this material? Over to the right, you'll also see keywords. These are words that you may not have encountered before, and they will be bolded in the learning material. Let's turn the page. So we want to make sure that we've reviewed each one of these slides. You can either come to the upper right-hand corner or at the very bottom, you'll see that next. That will also turn the page for us. And you'll see there's a transcript here as well. Now we're ready to move on because we've reviewed all 9 slides. Make sure you come to the bottom left-hand corner, mark this activity complete, and then we're going to go to the bottom and go to the next activity. Now I want to get and look at that learning material. I'm so excited to see what I'm going to encounter this year. The first tab is computer culture. Now you'll notice that after I've opened the topic, I will see all the activities listed that I'm going to encounter in this topic. The icons will tell us what they are. That's a podcast, that's learning material, and that's a required gradable assignment. Let's take a look at the learning material. I hover over the title and click with my mouse. Notice what I mentioned before. First slide is objectives, what you are hoping to learn and gain from this material. Then over to the right, we'll see the key words. Let's turn the page. Here's the introductory information, and this is a prompt. This wants to ask you to start thinking about what you've just read. Do you know? What is digital media exactly? I'm going to think about what my response would be. And then I'm going to check if my response is correct by clicking on the answer. Wow, that is really informative, and I wasn't quite as detailed in my response. Students, these are practice activities. They do not earn a grade, but they help solidify the information that you just learned, and it's asking you to use your memory and recall to see if you can properly answer this question. All right, let's move on to the next page by clicking Next or coming to the top. I'm going to click Next. More information, and please make sure you click on each one of these tabs for further information. And as I scroll down, I am now ready to turn the page. What can digital media help you express yourself as an artist? Now, these are def words and then their definition. If you don't see the definition, simply click on the tile, the word, and the definition will appear for you. Now we are at slide 404. So what are we going to do? We're going to go ahead and click on that next activity. First, we want to mark this activity complete in the bottom left, and then move on to our next activity, which we notice is a quiz. Now, you are almost ready to take that quiz. But first, ask yourself, are you in an environment that will help you concentrate? Have you removed all distractions? Are you well prepared to take this quiz? Because in some instances, you may only have one attempt. So before you click that start button, take a deep breath. Make sure that you understand the material that you've just reviewed. If not, go back. But if you are ready, go ahead and click start. But be prepared. You must complete all of the quiz before you close out. You cannot start a quiz and then log out and come back to it later. You must be ready to start and complete the quiz in one activity. Best wishes. Now, after you've completed that quiz, you will earn a grade. To see the grade details, you can click here and see what you answered correctly or incorrectly. Now that we've taken that quiz, and hopefully, fingers crossed, you've done very well, we're going to come to that bottom right-hand corner and click on the next activity. Here we go. Creators, copyright, and you. Here are our objectives. I am very excited about what I'm going to learn in just a few moments. And here are my key words. Let's turn the page. There's that practice question. Do I know the answer? Let me think about that. There we go. Hopefully, you knew the answers to that. Now, while we're here, I wanted to show you this assistive learning toolbox that's available to you in your course. And that's over here in the upper right-hand corner. If I click on that arrow, I'm going to have access to the talk to text. I'm sorry, text to talk. Click this button, hover over the text that I want spoken to me.
That means no one can use, change, or sell your creative work without your permission.
This is helpful if you have a lot of text and it's difficult to focus on that. You can choose to have it read aloud to you. We also have this translation tool. I'm going to select a word and then turn on that translation tool. Now, over to the settings. If English is not your primary language, I can come to the settings and choose any one of these languages. I want to choose Greek. And then I hit save, and it will translate that word into the Greek language. So let's choose original, turn on that translation tool, and there you have. Students, this is a supportive tool, but we do not want you to rely on using that translation tool for all of the text that you're going to encounter. The goal is to strengthen your language skills in the English language. So while you may not understand a particular word, you do not want to rely on that translation tool for all of your learning material. Now we also have an online dictionary. So we highlight that word, turn on that dictionary, and we have the definition over to the left-hand side. Click on the X to close it, and we have this screen mask. And what that does is it helps you focus on the text line by line. That's one of my favorite tools. All right, if you don't want to use that toolbox, simply click on the arrow and it will close. Now that we've looked at a lot of the information inside the course, I want to go back to that main area of your course by coming to that upper left-hand back arrow And I wanted to show you this to-do list. This is going to give you a list of those assignments and their suggested due dates. But remember, this is a self-paced course. So even though you don't submit an assignment on that targeted due date, you still have the opportunity to submit it after the due date and be able to earn 100% of the score that you were able to before the due date and even after. We're not going to take off points for late work. Let's also take a look at that gradebook detail. Over in the upper right-hand corner, I'm circling the gradebook detail icon. I'm going to click, and now I'm going to see a lot of information. I can see the percentage of gradable activities I've completed. There are 49 required gradable assignments. Students, you must complete all of this work prior to your course end date. Even if you had a perfect 100% average grade, if you fail to complete all of the 49 assignments, you run the risk of earning an I for incomplete in the course. If you earn an I, that means that you will need to retake that course at a later time at an additional expense. So your goal should be to monitor this and make sure you check that end date and the number of assignments you have left to complete. And if you are behind, make sure that you're logging in more often and completing that work. Every one of these assignments listed here is what you will be expected to complete. Now let's follow that all the way over to the right, and you'll see I'm circling with my mouse the score. That'll be the grade you earned on that assignment. The status, if it's green check mark, that means that you completed it and submitted it online. You'll also see the date that you submitted that. And these are the targeted due dates. This will help you know when you should complete an assignment. And you can actually print out this list by coming up here and clicking on the print icon. So you will have this as your list of assignments and their targeted due dates. This is a nice resource for you. And you could actually be able to put those assignments into your calendar as a gentle reminder of when you should be completing work. Let's go back to that main area. And I wanted to show you a required gradable assignment. Under computer culture, we see right here the assignment name, podcast, premise, mind, map, assignment. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. Now, here's the assignment in the blue font, titled activity. When you click on that, you have a document that you're going to complete. So you should either print this out or download it. And then it's a fillable PDF. Make sure you enter your name and type in the responses. And then you're going to save this file on your device and you're going to name it. Then you're going to come back to this assignment area and you're going to come over to this left area, attachments. You're going to click on file. You're going to find that file name. And then I'm going to click upload. Now you'll notice it over here. This does not deliver the assignment to your instructor. You must click submit my work. If you do not, this stays in a draft version. Your teacher will not be able to see it, and she will not or he will not be able to provide a grade for you. So you want to make sure that after you've uploaded it, you click submit my work. Now you see this plus sign right here. This is not where you type your answer or upload your assignment. This is an area to provide a comment to your instructor. Dear teacher, I hope you enjoy reviewing my assignment. I worked hard on it. So that is just a comment to your instructor. It does not actually, this is not where you're going to upload the assignment. That's going to be over here. We're going to go ahead and delete that because this is a practice activity. All right, leave. Now we are back at our main screen. I wanted to give you an opportunity to review what a discussion prompt will look like. Actually, let's go back. I don't see that a discussion board prompt here. However, there will be detailed directions on how to complete that. And if you're ever unsure how to complete an assignment, go ahead and email your teacher. She will either, or he will either give you directions or perhaps create a recorded tutorial to guide you through the steps. But in that getting started area, you will also make sure that you review those tips on how to post to a discussion board forum. All right, now I want to go back and just reinforce how you're going to join your live session. 5 minutes before the day and time of your live lesson, you're going to log in. You're going to click the Start button. You're going to click on the course tile. You're going to come to the live sessions area. And you're going to wait for this red text to turn blue, hover over the hyperlink, and join your teacher and peers in the live session. Well, students, it was lovely to meet you, and I hope you have a successful semester ahead. Remember to keep up that good work. Best wishes.